Pho is more than a dish. For many Vietnamese, it is memory, identity, and home served in a steaming bowl. And yet, this national treasure began not in fancy restaurants or royal kitchens, but on the quiet streets and marketplaces of northern Vietnam in the early 20th century. To understand why pho has become Vietnam's most iconic culinary symbol and why the world has fallen in love with it, we need to follow its story back to a time of cultural exchange, resourcefulness, and everyday ingenuity. In the early 1900s, Vietnam was under French colonial rule, and with that came a dramatic shift in eating habits. The French consumed large amounts of beef, a practice uncommon in Vietnamese cooking at the time. Local butchers suddenly had leftover bones, brisket, and meat scraps that were rarely used. Vietnamese cooks, known for their creativity and ability to make something remarkable out of humble ingredients, began simmering these beef bones for hours. They infused the broth with spices such as star anise, cinnamon, and clove aromatics that traveled along ancient spice routes and were already deeply familiar to Asian kitchens. What emerged from these pots was unlike anything Vietnam had seen before, a broth both delicate and complex, fragrant yet comforting. Early pho wasn't served in restaurants. It appeared on the streets of Hanoi, carried by vendors who balanced a pair of wooden baskets on bamboo poles. One side held a pot of steaming broth, the other filled with noodles, herbs, and thinly sliced beef. Customers sat on small stools at the roadside, warming their hands over bowls that filled the cold morning air with savory steam. The sound of a vendor gently tapping his ladle became part of the daily rhythm of the city. Over time, pho shifted from a simple street meal to an essential part of Vietnamese life. By the 1930s, pho shops began appearing throughout Hanoi. Each family developed its own recipe, its own balance of sweetness, saltiness, and spice, and its own philosophy of broth. Some simmered their bones for 12 hours, others for 24. Some favored a clearer broth, others pushed for deeper flavors. Yet all shared a common spirit. Pho was built on care, patience, and respect for the ingredients. After 1954, when migration carried pho from north to south, the dish transformed again. In Saigon, people embraced bolder flavors, adding more herbs, sprouts, lime, and chili. They introduced hoisin and chili sauce, giving diners more freedom to personalize each bowl. If northern pho was minimalistic and elegant, southern pho was expressive and generous stew interpretations of the same cultural heartbeat. As the Vietnamese diaspora spread across the world after the 1970s, pho crossed oceans and continents. What began as a comfort food in refugee communities soon captured global attention. In cities like Paris, Sydney, Los Angeles, and Berlin, pho became a gateway that introduced newcomers to Vietnamese culture. Western chefs praised its balance of flavors. Food critics described it as a symphony in a bowl. Travelers returned home telling stories about the noodles they tasted on a street corner in Hanoi. Today, pho stands among the world's great culinary ambassadors, embodying Vietnam's warmth, resilience, and creativity. But pho's power goes beyond flavor because it represents the Vietnamese spirit. It is adaptable, enduring, always finding harmony even in difficult times. A bowl of pho is a reminder that history, migration, colonial influence, and local tradition can coexist and create something beautiful. It is, in many ways, the story of Vietnam, itself layered, complex, and deeply human. And so, whether you enjoy pho in a bustling stall in Hanoi, a family-run shop in Saigon, or a cozy restaurant in your own city somewhere far from Vietnam, one thing remains the same. The moment you lift that spoonful of fragrant broth to your lips, you're tasting a piece of Vietnamese heritage. The steam rising from the bowl carries not just aroma, but generations of craftsmanship and love. Pho isn't just eaten, it's experienced, and once you've felt its warmth, it's easy to understand why this humble bowl of noodles has become Vietnam's national dish and a beloved treasure around the world.